Hello everyone, happy Monday. Almost forgot what day it was. I'm Charlita, and if you are new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome. So let's get into this topic of what to do when you are feeling stuck. And I think that this is very common when you are working towards a goal, or when you are trying to make a certain change, or you're on a path to make a certain change or changes, or you're on a journey. It kind of can feel like you are not going anywhere, like you're doing all the things, you're putting in the work, and you're just not making any progress. It feels like you're just in a state of standing still or being stuck. So the first step is to take accountability. So what does taking accountability look like? So it means taking ownership of your situation and not blaming anybody else, but it means saying, I got myself here and I can get myself out. And also too, I just want to say this in regards to taking accountability. I also think you need to avoid feeling bad about your situation or maybe your past. A lot of times I see people, and I have even done this myself, where I am thinking about what I should have done, what I could have done, and what I didn't do. And by thinking that way, it allows you to remain in the past and not living in the moment, and therefore it keeps you in a state of feeling stuck because you are not even able to see the progress that you have made because you're so busy living in the past or putting yourself down. So that's the first step, taking accountability. Secondly, I would say that you need to make small goals that you know that you can achieve. So of course, you're going to have the major goal, and then you're going to have all of the goals leading up to that ultimate goal. However, when I say small goals that you know you can achieve, these are things that they don't even necessarily have to directly correlate to the ultimate goal. These could be maybe just small changes that you can make in your current routine, and something like, for example, I don't know, making a change in your diet, exercising more, meditation, whatever it is, something that you know that you can achieve and that you can incorporate into your routine. And by doing this, it actually will give you the confidence when you make these small goals. It will give you the confidence and the motivation to actually, it will give you the confidence and the motivation that you need, and then the momentum that you need to actually reach the more, those harder or those longer term goals that you have. It's kind of like a trick of the mind, because and this is nothing new. Your perception, how you perceive things, is your reality. So if you can achieve these smaller goals, you will instantly feel good about yourself because you know that you're doing something positive. And also too, this again will give you that momentum that you need to make those, to reach those bigger goals. And you definitely won't feel like you're standing still because you're achieving something, you're making progress. And it also will just give you that boost of confidence that you may need. So making smaller goals that you know you can achieve is the next step. And next, you want to actually make a commitment to yourself to see this thing all the way through. I know for me, a lot of times I kind of get distracted and I get bored when I'm doing something, or when I'm trying to work on something, and I'll instantly just think of all these other ideas, and it's kind of hard for me to stay focused on one thing and to actually see it all the way through. A lot of times I'll have all of these different things that I'm working on, and in the past, especially in the past, I would never feel like I was achieving anything because I was spreading myself so thin that I couldn't reach any of these goals because I was doing too much. So this year, I have made a commitment to myself to actually focus on achieving one thing and to see it all the way through and to stick with it all the way through the end, and not to get distracted and not to pick up another project, but to stick with this one thing all the way through and to just keep going. And the last thing that I wrote on here is holding on to a fantasy or holding on to the past. And the reason why I put that is because I put that on my list because of the simple fact that often we have in our minds this idea of how we wanted something to go, or how we think, or we have in our mind a way that we think we should go about solving a particular problem. And sometimes we have to actually make a pivot and make a change or go down a different direction. And we are afraid to make that choice because it involves doing something that is either unfamiliar to us or maybe uncomfortable. And it's kind of like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of the story? It's a short story called "Dope on a Rope," where you have a prisoner who is up for execution, and the king gives him two choices. He can either die by being hung by a rope, or he can go through this door that leads to the unknown. And so when he is given the choice of one of these two things, he chooses to take the rope. And so while the rope is while he's getting ready to get tied up by this rope, he looks to the king and he says, "Hey, what's behind that door?" And the king looks at him and he kind of smirks, and the prisoner's just like, I'm not going to say anything. Just tell me what's behind the door. So he goes, very few people choose it, but it's actually the path to freedom. And I kind of think that kind of illustrates how we are. We are so afraid of making a particular change because it's something that is foreign to us or unknown, that what we don't realize, we are actually blocking ourselves from actually experiencing change, all because we are afraid to go down an unknown path. And sometimes the answer can be right in front of us. We just got to go through the door, and by going through that unknown door, it will actually lead to the path of freedom. It will actually help us reach the goal that we actually want to achieve. So fear can keep us in a state of standing still. So hopefully these things that I mentioned will be helpful to you if you do find yourself in a state of feeling like you are standing still. And if anything that I said in this video was of value, let me know, and let's continue this conversation in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.